can't live your life based on like what other people are gonna think, how other people are gonna feel, because at the end of the day, it's you, it's your life. Right. So it's gonna make you happy.
And we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit.
Oh, you thought Lori Harvey was just another pretty face caught in the crossfire of Beyoncé's legendary wrath. Honey, we wish it were that simple, because what we're hearing now isn't just about a flirty smile at the Rock Nation brunch back in 2019. Oh no, this goes so much deeper, and it's way darker than anyone's letting on. Picture this. Lori wasn't just with Diddy during their so-called romance. She was allegedly passed around like a party favor at his infamous gatherings. And Jay-Z? Well, let's just say insiders claim he wasn't just a guest at those events. He was reportedly one of the main attractions. And if you think Beyoncé's fury over that 3-second clip of Lori batting her lashes at her husband was intense, wait until you hear what she actually knows, or at least what the streets are whispering she's been told. Because this isn't about infidelity, darling. This is about ownership. And Lori's sudden decision to lock down her social media? That wasn't about the Beyhive's bumblebee emojis. That was the move of a woman who knows she's standing on a landmine.
What's the best advice they've given you?
Just remember that you're the prize at all times.
Boom.
Best advice.
Now, let's rewind to that brunch for a second, because the way the story's been told, you'd think Lori just happened to catch Jay-Z's eye while Beyoncé was busy serving face in that show-stopping outfit. But let's be real. Nothing in Diddy's world happens by accident. Sources close to the situation say Lori wasn't just there. She was placed there, part of a long game that Diddy's been running for decades. And Jay-Z? He wasn't just chatting her up. He was allegedly sampling the merchandise. You remember how the internet lost it when that photo surfaced? The Beyhive swarming Lori's comments, the bumblebee emojis flooding her posts, Lori herself shutting it all down like her life depended on it? Yeah, well, what if that wasn't just fan rage? What if that was damage control? Because the truth was about to spill and someone needed to make sure it didn't. And let's not forget how Lori unfollowed Diddy right after the backlash hit. Coincidence? Or was that the first sign she was cutting ties before the whole thing blew up in her face? But here's where it gets even messier. Because Lori wasn't Diddy's first project, and she sure as hell won't be his last. This is a man who's allegedly turned access into a currency, where young women get close to power only to find out they're the ones being traded. We've seen this script before. Cassie Ventura, Adria English, the list goes on. All of them started out as muses, ended up as cautionary tales. And Lori? She was the perfect candidate, beautiful, connected, with a stepdad who's basically America's favorite uncle. Steve Harvey's been real quiet about all this, hasn't he? No press conferences, no fiery sermons about protecting his stepdaughter. Just silence. And in a family that loud, silence isn't golden, it's suspicious. So let's ask the question no one else is. Did Steve know what Lori was walking into? Or is he just another man who looked the other way because the perks were too good to pass up?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he said.
Are you kidding me?
He said that he confronted you about it before, and then even after that.
And he still ain't saying what.
And then there's Beyoncé. Oh, Queen Bey. The woman who turned Lemonade into a cultural reset, who made the world believe she could forgive Jay-Z for anything. But what if this time it's not about forgiveness? What if this time it's about strategy? Because let's keep it real, Beyoncé doesn't just react to scandals. She orchestrates them. And if the rumors are true, if Jay-Z was really involved in Diddy's sick little games, then this isn't just a marriage on the rocks. This is a career-ending play. Think about it. Beyoncé's got a tour coming up, a legacy to protect, and 3 kids watching her every move. You really think she's gonna let Jay-Z drag her name through the mud again? Or is she biding her time, waiting for the perfect moment to drop the hammer? Because if there's one thing we've learned from Beyoncé, it's that she doesn't fight her battles in the streets. She fights them in the court of public opinion, and honey, she always wins.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
But here's what no one's asking. What happens when the music stops? When the parties are over, the cameras are gone, and the only thing left is the receipts? Because Diddy's in jail now, but the machine he built, that's still running. And Jay-Z, he's next in line. The FBI's been circling, the lawsuits are piling up, and every day another name gets dragged into the light. So while we're all focused on Lori's smile and Beyoncé's next move, let's not forget the bigger picture. This isn't just about one girl, one couple, or even one mogul. This is about an entire industry that's been running on exploitation for decades. And if Lori Harvey was allegedly just another piece in the game, then who's next? Because one thing's for sure, the party's over. And the cleanup? That's gonna be messy. Now let's talk about those parties for a second, because we've all heard the stories. The white parties, the after-hours bashes, the so-called freak-offs that Diddy made infamous. But what if those weren't just wild nights in the life of a music mogul? What if they were auditions? Because here's the thing about Diddy. He didn't just throw parties. He curated them. And the guest list? Oh, it wasn't just about who was hot. It was about who was useful. You had the stars, sure. Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Usher, all the usual suspects. But you also had the up-and-comers, the girls with dreams bigger than their bank accounts, the ones willing to do whatever it took to get a foot in the door. And Lori? She fit the mold perfectly. Young, ambitious, connected, exactly the kind of girl who'd get treated, dined, and then passed around like an hors d'oeuvre. And let's not pretend this is new. We've heard the whispers for years. The stories about Diddy's parties, the NDAs, the girls who'd show up wide-eyed and leave looking like they'd seen a ghost. But no one talked. Not really. Because in this industry, silence isn't just golden, it's mandatory. You want a record deal? Keep your mouth shut. You want to roll in the next video? Don't ask questions. And if you do speak up, well, just ask Cassie Ventura how that worked out for her, or Adria English, or any of the other women who've tried to tell their stories, only to get buried under lawsuits and smear campaigns. Because that's the thing about power. It doesn't just protect itself. It destroys anything that threatens it.
Respect to the evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right? More than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in.
But here's the kicker. Diddy's in jail now, and Jay-Z, he's sweating, because the walls are closing in, and the one person who could really bring him down isn't a lawyer or a judge or even the FBI. It's his wife. And if Beyoncé's taught us anything, it's that she doesn't just leave a man, she erases him. So while the world's busy arguing over whether Lori's a victim or a villain, the real question is this: what does Beyoncé know? And more importantly, what's she waiting to do with it? Because if there's one thing we know about the Carters, it's that they don't lose. They strategize. And if Jay-Z's name is on that lawsuit alongside Diddy's, then you best believe Beyoncé's already 10 steps ahead, plotting her next move. And honey, when she strikes, it's not going to be a scandal. It's going to be a massacre. Now, let's take it back to the beginning, because this story didn't start with Lori Harvey. Oh no, it started long before that. Back when Diddy was still Puff Daddy and Jay-Z was just another hungry rapper from Brooklyn, these two didn't just rise together, they ruled together. And the way they did it? Well, let's just say the blueprint was written in blood, not ink. We're talking about the 90s, when the music industry was wild and the rules were simple. You wanted in? You played the game. And Diddy? He didn't just play. He owned it. Bad Boy Records wasn't just a label, it was an empire. And empires aren't built on talent alone. They're built on secrets.
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-find.
Remember the nightclub shooting in '99? The one where Diddy walked away scot-free while his protege Shine took the fall? Or how about the stabbing incident that same year, where Jay-Z copped a plea and got off with probation? Coincidence? Please. These men didn't just survive their legal troubles. They thrived after them, because in their world, a charge isn't a setback. It's a resume builder, and the more you get away with, the more untouchable you become. So, when we hear about the parties, the girls, the alleged assaults, when we hear about a 13-year-old girl in 2000, or Lori Harvey in 2019, we've got to ask ourselves, was this ever really about music? Or was it always about power? And let's talk about that power for a second, because it's not just about what these men did. It's about what everyone else let them do. The industry turned a blind eye. The media called it lifestyle. And the fans? Well, we bought the records, didn't we? We streamed the songs, we wore the merch, we made them legends. And now, here we are, acting shocked when the receipts start coming in. But let's keep it real. We knew. Maybe not the details, not the names, not the dates, but we felt it. That little nagging voice in the back of our heads every time another story broke, every time another woman came forward, every time another party ended with more questions than answers.
If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some just keep getting?
Right.
So when we look at Lori Harvey now, when we see her locked down social media and her deleted comments and her silence, we've got to wonder, is she scared of the Bayhive, or is she scared of something worse? Because the Bayhive can be mean, sure, but they don't have the kind of reach that Diddy does. They don't have the kind of resources. And if Lori really was part of Diddy's operation, if she really was passed around like insiders say, then her biggest fear isn't a bunch of angry fans. It's the men who own this industry. The ones who've spent decades making sure no one talks. The ones who've got lawyers on speed dial and NDAs stacked higher than the charts. And that brings us back to Beyoncé, doesn't it? Because if there's one person who's got the clout to take them all down, it's her. She's not just a wife, she's not just a mother. She's a billionaire, she's a cultural icon, and she's pissed. So, while the world's busy debating whether Lori's a victim or a willing participant, while the tabloids are arguing over who smiled at who, Beyoncé's over here playing the long game. And if Jay-Z's name is on that lawsuit, if the FBI's really circling, then you best believe she's not just thinking about divorce, she's thinking about destruction.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious.
Because in the end, this isn't just a story about Lori or Diddy or even Jay-Z. It's a story about what happens when the queen decides to burn the kingdom down. And honey, when Beyoncé's holding the match, nothing survives the flames. This isn't the first time. And if we're being honest, it probably won't be the last. Because let's take it back to the year 2000, when the music industry was still running on smoke, mirrors, and the kind of backroom deals that would make your stomach turn. Picture this. A 13-year-old girl, wide-eyed and full of dreams, ends up at one of Diddy's infamous after-parties. She's handed a drink, something sweet, something strong, and the next thing she knows, she's waking up in a bedroom that isn't hers. And she's not alone. Because standing over her, two of the most powerful men in music, Diddy and Jay-Z. Now, we've all heard the lawsuits, the denials, the carefully crafted PR statements. But let's cut through the noise for a second and ask ourselves, what kind of man looks at a child and sees an opportunity? What kind of industry lets that slide for decades? Because this wasn't some one-off horror story. This was the blueprint.
In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away."
And if you think that was bad, let's talk about the white parties. The so-called exclusive gatherings where Diddy played Kingmaker, and the price of admission wasn't just a designer outfit. It was your silence. We're talking about events where underage girls were allegedly plied with spiked drinks, where rites of passage weren't just some cheesy initiation. They were assaults dressed up as opportunities. One lawsuit after another has painted the same picture. A 16-year-old boy lured into a private room under the promise of stardom, only to be told to drop his pants as part of the process. A security guard who claims he was violated after the drinks at a 2006 bash turned out to be more than just strong. And let's not forget Adria English, the former adult film star who says she was groomed into trafficking at these same events, where the sparkling drink flowed as freely as the threats. So tell me, if this was the culture in 2000, if this was the norm back then, what the hell was happening in 2019 when Lori Harvey walked into that Rock Nation brunch with a smile on her face and Diddy's hand on her back?
I was with the girl, and he was asking about her, and then he was asking me stuff like, you know, would you be interested in, like, you know, somebody watching? He was just asking some really, really bugged out questions. And I still have those emails. I still have all that, you know? So, like, that's one of the things that I was going to include in the book. I'm just trying to figure out how.
But here's where it gets even uglier, because this wasn't just a Diddy sick fantasy. It was an industry wide open secret, and we've got the receipts. Remember when Usher sat down with Howard Stern and casually mentioned the very curious things he saw at Diddy's house when he was 13 years old? The orgies, the doors you didn't dare open, the lessons no kid should ever have to learn? Or how about Justin Bieber, the golden boy who spent 48 hours with Diddy at just 15, joking on camera about getting a Lamborghini and going to get some girls, while the man himself smirked and said, "Everything ain't for everybody." Funny how that clip resurfaced right after the FBI raids, isn't it? And let's not forget Khloe Kardashian, casually dropping on Keeping Up with the Kardashians that she'd been to one of Diddy's naked parties where, surprise, surprise, Justin Bieber was also in attendance. So let's ask the question no one else will. Was Justin just a guest, or was he being prepped for a role in this little game of theirs? And speaking of games, let's talk about what the FBI actually found when they finally raided Diddy's mansions last year. Because it wasn't just a few questionable photos or some incriminating texts. Oh no. We're talking 1,000 bottles of lube, enough to stock a small pharmacy, and a collection of AR-15s that would make a militia jealous. And that's just what they admitted to finding. So tell me, what else is still hidden in those walls? What's buried in the hard drives, the safety deposit boxes, the memories of the girls who've been paid to stay quiet? Because if this is what they found, imagine what they didn't. And who's still protecting it? Now, let's bring it back to the present, because while Diddy's sitting in a jail cell and Jay-Z's lawyers are scrambling to keep him out of one, the machine they built is still humming along just fine. Lori Harvey's deleted her posts, but the photos are still out there. Her arm wrapped around Diddy's waist, her laugh caught on camera at some event where the real business was happening behind closed doors. Steve Harvey's still silent, because what do you say when your stepdaughter's name is tangled up in a scandal this big? Do you defend her? Do you distance yourself? Or do you just hope it all blows over before the next season of Family Feud? And Beyoncé? Oh, she's watching. Because this isn't just about her marriage anymore. This is about her legacy.
Lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed.
And if there's one thing we know about Beyoncé, it's that she doesn't let anyone, not even her husband, threaten that. But here's the thing that should keep us all up at night. This isn't just about Lori or Diddy or Jay-Z or even Beyoncé. This is about an entire system that's been running on exploitation for decades. A system where young women are currency, where silence is the cost of entry, and where the only thing that matters is who's holding the power. And right now, that power's shifting. Diddy's locked up, but the parties are still happening. The drinks are still flowing. The girls are still smiling for the cameras. So while we're all busy arguing over who knew what and when, let's not forget the real question. Who's next? Because if Lori Harvey was allegedly just another name on the list, then who's walking into that VIP section tonight? And that brings us to the end of this little story, but not the end of the story. Because the truth is, this isn't over. Not by a long shot. The lawsuits are still piling up. The FBI's still digging. And Beyoncé? Well, let's just say if she does decide to drop the hammer, the whole world's gonna feel the shake. So tell me, what do you think she's waiting for? And more importantly, who's really afraid of her finding out? Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and remember, in this game, the only thing more dangerous than the truth is the person who's been hiding it. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your comments spicy. We'll be watching.